Hi, and welcome to this tutorial where we're going to have a quick look at adding a title in and then just having a quick check about sort of the animation controls that we have. Okay, so in fact, let's take this video here. So you just got a little video like that, and I'm just going to use a standard title control there, and I'm just going to type in video title. Okay, you'll find in a lot of cases when I do video, when I do these title texts, I'm not really taking any time to change the font or the color or things like that. Obviously, you guys can. Feel free to get the title right before you start doing everything else with it. But so you'll see that when you select the title on the left-hand side, if you go to the Effect Controls tab, you should see some controls that relate to that. So you've got things like scale, position, and so on. Next to each one of these controls, okay, opacity, whatever you like, you'll see a little stopwatch icon. That stopwatch icon, as you can see, says toggle animation. It basically turns on or off the animation controls. Notice as well when I, okay, sorry, one other thing. Let's just zoom in. It's only like, how long is that? 2 frames by default. So I'm going to just stretch that out actually so that it actually runs along the length of the video. Okay, actually another thing as well, let's just bring it in slightly. So this is just separate, but down here I'm going to go to my effects panel, which is not the same as the effect controls. So effects are the things that you apply. Effect controls are the individual controls that you use to change it. So you can see we've got things like video transitions, and if I go into dissolve, you'll see one is highlighted in blue. That's generally our default. So I'm going to apply a cross dissolve. What a cross dissolve should do is at least just fade that title in, as you can see. Yeah, which usually looks nicer than just having something pop up on screen. Although again, it depends on the style of what you're doing. And I could add a cross dissolve at the end to both that and my video. Why not? Yeah, so that at the end they both fade away. Okay, right. So anyway, as I mentioned, we've got our title here, which is faded in. By the way, if you want to, you can click the cross dissolve, and you can see now in the effect controls, we can change the length of time that takes to sort of the dissolve to work. So I could reduce the time so it can happen a bit quicker. So you can see that the effect controls is really about just the individual controls that allow you to refine that effect. But in the effects panel, we apply the effects. Anyway, sorry, that was just like a little separate thing. I'm going to go back to my title. What I'm going to do is, as I mentioned, we can turn any one of these controls on. And you'll also find that as I move my playhead, it moves actually around along time here in the effect control as well. So you can kind of see that. I can also use my arrow keys up and down just to sort of jump between clips. Notice it's only sort of doing that on video track 1. It's kind of missing the start of video track 2. I just need to turn that on there, and then it should count that in as well. So that can be sometimes quite a quick way to jump to the clip that you want to go to. Anyway, go back to the beginning of that. And I'm going to turn on the position keyframe. Okay, so I've turned on the position keyframe, and it will remember where the text is at this point in time. The only reason we can't see it is because of that silly cross dissolve that I put on. So I'm going to actually get rid of that. I don't need it there. I just want it on the end. Okay, now that I think about it. Right, so anyway, I've turned on position property, and I can adjust its position. So I'm going to adjust the sort of horizontal position, and I'm going to set the text to be here. And so it will remember that it is there at that point. But it's staying there because there's only one keyframe, so it's not going anywhere. So I'm going to play it to about here. Then I'm going to pop it back in. There we go. All right. So once you've turned on animate, you don't need to press it again. You just adjust the settings however you want at different points in time. So at least now what happens is it pops in like that. To be honest, that felt a little slow. Now that could be the playback anyway. But yeah, generally that just feels a little bit too slow for me. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just zoom in a little bit here, and I can just adjust these keyframes. So by putting them closer together, the animation occurs a lot quicker. Okay, spread those further apart, it will take longer. So there we go. So I've got a quick animation, and again, you can play around with that. Personally, stuff like that usually doesn't work very well. The main one I would use is just something like a fade in, slow fade in. Usually looks nice. Yeah. So it's weird. I'm showing you guys stuff that basically I'm saying doesn't look great. So in fact, let's just do that. Let's turn. So as I mentioned, if you press that, it will just turn off. It's saying, are you sure? Because you're going to delete all the keyframes. Click OK. So because I've turned animation off, there is no animation left. and it's just left it where it was. Okay, so I'll tell you what, let's do it the opposite way instead. Why not animate the opacity? So this is kind of doing what the cross dissolve we just looked at does, but we are controlling that ourselves. So opacity is actually already turned on. Great. So it's already got a keyframe on there. I don't know if I turn that on or if it comes like that as default, but I'm going to just set that to 0. Okay. The other thing as well is, I want to get rid of that other keyframe for now. So what I can do is I can actually just jump between keyframes using these arrows. Okay. And then when I'm on a keyframe, you'll see the keyframe icon is highlighted. And I can just press that to delete that keyframe as well. So there's no keyframe, and there we go. Then the bulb comes on. So what I'm going to do is just before then, okay, use my JKL keys to move. Great. I'm going to press the keyframe button so it retains that 0 opacity there. But then after that, let's go up to the point where the bulb reaches its maximum. Looks like it's about here. So it reaches maximum there. So I'm just going to type in 100. Okay, and so what should hopefully happen now is the video title should come up as it goes, as the bulb does. And then I'm going to keep it up. There we go. So just there. It still stays the same, so I'm going to press keyframe again to hold that, and then after that the light starts to drop. So I'm going to do the same. Oh, takes a bit of time, which kind of makes sense for the filament to cool down. So this might not match perfectly, but let's see what happens. We'll go to there, and I'm just going to set that to 0. Okay, right, there we go. So hopefully what will happen now is the title will pop up as that does, and it will kind of disappear. And like I said, if it doesn't work perfectly, I can always sort of adjust that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the quality down. A quarter is the best it can do. So the other thing I could do is sequence. Let's have a look. Render effects. Well, I haven't marked anything in and out. So if I just say render in and out, what it should do is hopefully try to generate a preview. So you usually get a little box that will pop up that'll tell you about the progress of the render, but you can see there's a yellow bar there. It's turned it green now, so it should mean that it can play in real time. Yeah, so you got a better sense then of what that actually looks like. So if you ever do find it's struggling to play back and you got a yellow bar, that's one quick way to sort of do it. The other thing I was looking at here was the quality at which you are playing back. So you can check what your quality setting is and look if you can reduce it any further. But yeah, so again, a couple of examples there of how you can just turn on the animate controls and sort of adjust those. Now, the other thing you can do as well, as we looked at earlier with the effect, I looked at video transitions. So I was doing a transition cross dissolve. So transition is how you change from one clip to the next. You do also have video effects, and you've got a whole range of different types of effects here. Now, we're not really looking to sort of put a lot of effects on there, sort of thing. That's not really what, I would say. Well, while you can do it in Premiere, it's not always a perfect package to sort of do that in. However, I can't, and if you can't, but you can, obviously it's there, and if you need it, you can use that. I'm going to just quickly type in the effect I'm looking for. So what's this VR glow called? Let's just put that on there. Not exactly what I was expecting. Let's have a look if you turn that up. Oh, great. Okay, so you can see you can turn that on and gives it a bit of a kind of a, at least it seemed to. Let's have a look. Don't know, kind of disappeared. Looked like it did. There we go. Glow radius. Turn that up. That's weird. It sort of seems to show it in the. I wonder if I have to change some kind of setting somewhere else to sort of be able to preview that. It's a bit unusual. But let's see what else we've got then. So we've got stylized alpha glow. Let's try that. So I'm going to get rid of that effect. And let's try putting this alpha glow on again. Okay, so yeah, so that one, okay, definitely works. Notice it's gone red again. That's because in order for the software to be able to re-render this effect or show it to you, it can't do it in real time because it's kind of a complicated thing. So, but again, as we looked at before, we could just go render in and out, okay, and it will take a second, it will go through, but it will then give you a green bar again. So it basically creates this file for a preview on your hard drive. That's actually what it's doing. But now if we click that, you'll notice in the properties here we also have an alpha glow, and you've got brightness and things like that, and so we can adjust that however we want. Okay, but again, we can animate it. So if I wanted to, I could animate that slightly to come up as the light comes up, and then to animate down as the light goes off. Okay, so that we kind of lose that glow. So there's all kinds of other things you can add if you want to as well. Feel free to have a look and give that a try. Thanks for watching.